This is a presentation on Animal Farm by George Orwell, presented by Arya and Mula. So, a brief history of the Russian Revolution. So, the Russian Revolution took place in 1917, and it's basically when the peasants and the laborers of Russia revolted against the Tsar family, and they were led by Vladimir Lenin and a group. They were part of a group called the Bolsheviks. So, a small history of the socialism. Socialism was was seen before this, but was mainly prevalent in the Communist Manifesto, which was written by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels in 1898. So these held the first ideas of socialism. And then some history of communism. This was also found in the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, and basically their ideology was they didn't want to have the exploitation of workers. And in Russia, after trying socialism for a while, they eventually decided, I want to do communism now. So some three main ideas on each of the society, each of the governments, and some similarities and differences. So in socialism, workers are no longer exploited because they own the means of production, and this system eliminates poverty. It provides access for everyone to healthcare and education, and no one's discriminated against, and then everyone works at what one is best and what one enjoys. So there's no more poverty because the amount of money you get is reflected on how much work you put in. So if you put in very little work, you'll get a small amount of money, and if you put in a lot of work, you'll get a lot of money. So as long as you are willing to do the work, then you will be paid and you won't be left in poverty. So some main ideas of communism are there is a central banking system, government-controlled education and labor, and no private property. So basically what this means is that the government controls pretty much everything. They control the banks, they control all the education in schools, and they also control who does what. And there's no private property in communism as well as socialism because everything is owned by the government. And some similarities are both assume that all goods and services will be produced by the government. So this means that if there's a shortage on anything, then the government has to find a way to get it. It's not every man for themselves. The government provides for the people. And then some differences is that under communism, the people are compensated or provided for based on their needs. And in a pure communist society, the government provides most or all food, water, housing, and other necessities based on what it considers the needs of the people. So the people can't choose how much they're going to get. It's the government that chooses that for them. And socialism is based on the premise that people will be compensated based on the level of their individual contribution to the economy, which basically means that it's the opposite. How much ever work you put into the economy, you'll get that much in return. So how is Animal Farm a satire? So firstly, most of the characters represent some political figure within the Russian Revolution. For example, Joseph Stalin represented Napoleon, and Trotsky represented Snowball. And then it also had some of the same events and actions. For example, Stalin and Trotsky both struggled for power initially, but Stalin outmaneuvered Trotsky and gained all the power, kind of like what Napoleon did with Snowball. And then later, Stalin persecuted innocent people without proof. And then also Napoleon did the same thing. And then in the end, the Animal Farm gives up animalism, kind of like how Russia gave up communism. So how is the character parallel that I chose was Napoleon to Joseph Stalin, and these are some of the parallels. So he acts as one of the two leaders of Animal Farm with Snowball, and then he also acted as a leader with Trotsky. Then he isn't as clever as Snowball, kind of like in real life. He wasn't as educated. And in Animal Farm, he makes Snowball leave when he feels threatened by Snowball. And in real life, he orders someone to kill Trotsky. And In Animal Farm, they make a 3-year plan for building a windmill, and in real life, they make a 5-year plan for the industrial development. And Napoleon makes Boxer work until he dies, kind of like how Joseph Stalin made the Loyal Patriot or the Russian people work until they got too tired and useless. He had dogs who protected him and behaved like bodyguards, kind of like how in real life he had a secret police force called the NKVD, and he used his dogs to get rid of opposition by force, like how he used his secret police force. And he killed every animal that confesses that they agreed with Snowball or had anything to do with him. And in real life, he sent people to prison camps and killed them off when everyone disagreed with him or didn't do what he asked. And then he governed the farm with complete power, kind of like how he governed the complete country with complete monarchy. So, bibliography, the primary source was Animal Farm, the secondary source was Wikipedia.